Hello. Happy Sunday, everyone. So we are at the beginning of January, second Sunday of January. I think we need to give Facebook again a bit of time for everyone to find this video, because at the moment I'm just talking to myself. And it always takes a moment for everyone to find it. Okay, I can see you here. So, hello again. A very warm welcome. Good to see you here. So, today, we have a very important topic to talk about. But I was wondering, yeah, hello, hi. I can't see your names. Maybe I'll be looking here as well. Just give me a moment. I should be seeing your names here on my phone. So just bear with me for a sec, and I'll find our group. And here we are. Oh, hi, Rebecca. Good to see you here. Perfect. All right. So before we dive into gaslighting, I just would like to ask you, whether you can feel that the new year has started. So, can you feel like this shift inside, that something new has started? Or maybe you are like on your own schedule. Sometimes, we have our inner emotional flow and process that is not in sync, so to say, with the calendar. And we don't feel that this is a beginning of anything new. So just give me one, if you really feel that there has been something new starting for you, like you are starting a new year, a new chapter, something new, or whether you didn't feel it this year. So give me two, if you are more on your own timetable, so to say, and moving with your natural rhythm. It might be like very different at all these arbitrary dates. So one for yes, it's a new year and I can feel it. And two, I really don't feel that very much. I'm following my own rhythm here. And I'm asking you about it because this will lead us very well into our topic today. One, perfect. So this will lead us very well into our topic today, because it's so important for us to stay aligned to and in tune with what's going on inside. So there might be a timetable and schedule on the outside, but it's also very important to acknowledge, to notice, to pay attention to what is your own pace and your own rhythm, and stay aligned to this. So and what has it to do with gaslighting? Well, plenty. So I'm really curious if you know this word, if you know what gaslighting is. Let me know, yes or no. It has become like a buzzword lately, and I learned it not long ago, to be honest. It's not a part of all the psychological jargon, yes, that we might use. It's a very informal word, and I actually learned it from my teenage daughter, so she was first to know it. But just give me yes or no if you know what it's all about. The curious thing here, the fun fact, is that the word comes from an old I was coined because of an old movie, and it's a movie coming from the 40s. It was entitled Gaslight, Okay, so some people know, some people don't. That's okay. We'll dive into it in a moment. So there was a movie in the 40s which was called Gaslight. And it was all about a man who manipulated his wife's reality by hiding objects and also by turning the gaslights down slowly, slowly lower each night. And then, of course, he denied doing it, and he claimed that it was all in her head. So he claimed that she was imagining things and going crazy. So that's where the word gaslighting, or the verb gaslighting, was taken from, and it's used mainly for all these like toxic or abusive relationships where one person uses this form of manipulation that they make their victim doubt and question their thoughts, their feelings, and ultimately their sanity. So it is a form of psychological abuse. It is a form of manipulation, and it has been used to describe this for quite a while now. But it actually turns out that if you've been gaslit for a period of time, you start to believe in all these lies yourself. And as a result, what happens, we in psychology, we call it you internalize it. So basically, you start believing in all this yourself. So we know that repeated abuse can cause the person to start to become their own abuser. So this is what is happening here. And of course, you don't have to be a victim of gaslighting to be gaslighting yourself as a result. There are many other causes that might lead to it. So, for example, it's very often it's the result of serious trauma that you might have experienced in the past, or it also can be, accompanying some mental health problems like PTSD, or anxiety, or depression. But sometimes even, being in a chronic stress situation for a long period of time with no or with little support can start to make you feel disoriented and confused and start to question yourself or doubt yourself in a very serious way. But what's most important here is that it is very real. It is a very real form of psychological abuse. And the tricky thing about it is that we are often so blind to it. We are often so unaware that we are doing it to ourselves. So, and it's so insidious because of this nature of doubting, questioning, sabotaging yourself, and it keeps you in a vicious circle in a way. Yes, because you don't do anything to change the situation if you believe that it's only in your head. So you believe it's only in your head, and what's actually happening is that there is like a real situation, yes, that there is something really wrong or harmful happening in your life, in your relationship, very often at your work, and you learned not to see it. So that's where the real danger is coming from. So I want to tell you like 3 most common signs that you might be gaslighting yourself. And it comes in so many different shapes and forms that we are mentioning just really the most common or the most obvious situations, but just be very aware that it might be coming in a more subtle forms. So as I go through these three most common signs, just be really conscious whether some of these things, some of these words, phrases, thoughts sound familiar. And if they do, really acknowledge this. So the first sign that you might be gaslighting yourself is that you diminish, minimize, invalidate, or dismiss your feelings, your emotions, your thoughts. So we know in a fraction of a second when something not nice has happened, when we've been emotionally triggered, yes? But sometimes we just go into saying, wow, it's not that bad. I'm probably overreacting. Or you say, like, it's not that bad. Other people have it worse. Or you sometimes even say, I'm just too sensitive. I'm just too emotional. It's not a big deal at all. So please just check in with yourself whether this is something that you sometimes do to yourself as well. And if it's okay, just give us a yes or one in the comments if this is something that you do to yourself, sometimes at least. Like we always, like each of us does this at some point. So the problem here is if this is happening most of the time, yes. And then it can become a problem. So it's very often the result of the aftermath of a trauma that you might have experienced. Sexual, emotional, physical abuse. They often lead to a situation when you have to cut off your own feelings because you think that it's the only way to survive. So that can be a very adaptive and helpful mechanism at some point. It might have saved your life, but if it is going on for a long time, it kind of leaves you like drifting in the sea without rose and without a sail. Your emotions, they are there for a reason. They are your compass. They help you to navigate your life, your relationships. So without them, you kind of don't even know what's going on. You can't stand up to yourself. You can't set boundaries you need to set. You kind of you don't react to threat, to dangerous situations, to harmful situations the way you are supposed to react, because these are emotions. This is your healthy anger. Yes, this is your fear. This is your shame that is telling you that there's something wrong here. And then you need to do something about it. If you are not in touch with this, then you kind of helpless and at the mercy of so many difficult situations or relationships of people in your life. So that's always the first sign. The second sign is that you constantly doubt yourself, that you don't trust your own judgments. So quite often it's that you keep like second guessing yourself, or it's very difficult for you to take any decisions. You could say like, I'd love to do this, but I'm not good at it, so probably it's a stupid idea. Or like you would really like to say something aloud, and then you say, wow, maybe not. Maybe, this would sound funny or stupid, so I'd better like say nothing. This is what I'm talking about. So again, just checking in with yourself whether you keep doubting yourself in situations like this. Because what is happening as a result then is that you feel very, very disconnected, not only from yourself and from whatever your feelings, opinions, needs, and preferences, wants, desires are, but it leaves you also disconnected from other people. because you can't show up as you. And this is also the something that is very much connected with you like shooting yourself all the time. Because if you don't know what you want, if you question what you want all of the time, if you doubt what you want or need all of the time, then you are left at the mercy of what you should want or do or be or behave like or whatever. Yes, if you do not trust yourself, you start to trust all of these things that you learned along the way, what you should be like, what you should want, what you should behave like. And this is not like real you. So this is also about paying attention to all these different voices in your head that are not really your own if you take a moment to listen to them carefully. So again, does that ring the bell? Does that sound familiar? Do you have the tendency to doubt your own judgments, your own opinions, your own right to express whatever you think or feel? That's a good question to keep asking yourself. And then the third sign, and this is a biggie, and this was like my own number one for years, to be honest. So the third sign is that you always find a way to blame yourself. And this is all these situations in which you believe that if there is something difficult or harmful, disrespectful, something not right happening around you or in your relationships, you still believe that there must be something that you are doing wrong that is causing all this. So kind of no matter what's going on around you, no matter what has happened to you, no matter how other people are treating you, you kind of believe that it is you who are to blame. And again, checking in with yourself and give us like yes or one in the comments if this happens to you sometimes. That if someone says something hurtful or mean for you, just to give you an example, instead of allowing yourself to have a reaction to it, allowing yourself to feel the emotions that are coming up, you go into analyzing the whole situation straight away and start to think along the lines, I must have said something wrong. I must have said it maybe at the wrong time. Maybe I put a wrong kind of smile on my face, used the wrong kind of word, and that's why this person behaves like this. Yes, Adriana, this is so common. We do it sometimes very automatically. Instead of taking a moment to pause and really check in with yourself and allowing this hurt and this anger to come up so that it can tell you what to do next, you kind of jump away from all this because it's uncomfortable and go straight away into finding how you can be at fault here. And another example here is, of course, like that you find excuses for somebody, for someone else's behavior. So you could say, oh, I know, like he loves me, so he probably didn't mean it that way. That's making a huge bypass over your own reaction and over your own emotion. And this bypass doesn't serve you well because, again, it can keep you so stuck in a relationships, that are not good for you, in a relationships that are harmful. And even if it's not about the whole relationship, it might be about a particular dynamic in a relationship. And for years, you are not doing anything about it because you are stuck on trying to figure out what to do with yourself, how to twist and reshape and change yourself so that the other person starts to behave in a different way. But very often it's the other person that is responsible for their behavior, not you. And no matter how much you try and how much effort you put into it, you are not in control, and you do not have the power to change the other person. So there is deep wisdom in your healthy anger. There is deep wisdom in allowing yourself to feel hurt. There is deep wisdom in allowing your fear, your shame, and your anxiety, because they will guide you. They will tell you what to do to change the situation that is unhealthy. Okay, so these are just, as I said, the three most common ways in which this self-gaslighting might be happening in your life. Because if you have heard in your life from anybody that you are too dramatic, too sensitive, too emotional, too crazy, too stupid, then you start to believe that you are too dramatic, too sensitive, too emotional, too crazy, or too stupid. If you hear from somebody that you are too much or too impatient, too overreactive, too intolerant, too whatever, or not enough, then you start to believe that you are too much or not enough. And if somebody tells you that it's all your fault, you start to believe that it's all your fault. But the truth is, it cannot ever, ever be all your own fault. It's just impossible. So I would like to invite you to just take a moment and take a deep breath in and feel your feet on the floor and feel all the places in which your body is touching, the chair or the bed or the sofa you're sitting on right now. And just say to yourself inside, my emotions are valid and I have a right to express them. And just stay with this for a moment, just checking what's coming up as a result. Just noticing how you respond, how you react to this sentence. When you say to yourself, and just repeat it a few times, all of my emotions are valid and I have a right to express them. Just checking in with yourself whether this feels right or not right. There might be a bit of sadness coming up. There might be a bit of resistance coming up. That's all okay. We're just exploring here. And if it doesn't feel true to you right now, just ask yourself, what would it feel like if you believed that all of your emotions are valid, all of them, and that you have a right to express them? Always, no matter what, you have the right to express them. That's right. And if you feel it's okay for you to share with us in the comments what is coming up for you when you say this sentence to yourself, that would be brilliant. Whether it sounds true or whether there is a bit of resistance, a bit of sadness, or even a bit of anxiety coming up, what's your reaction? I love to see in the comments what it feels like for you. And I also encourage you to just to play and experiment with this sentence over the next few days, and see whether something changes and shifts when you keep repeating it to yourself over and over and over again. And I would like to say, of course, a few words, just a tiny bit, a bit about what you can do to stop self gaslighting. What you can do to stop believing all of these lies and start seeing the truth. And this, of course, can be a bit tricky because of this insidious nature of gaslighting. And that's why it's so important to have some support on the way here. Yes. Because if any of these signs that we just mentioned, if any of them sound familiar, and please, like, don't fall into the trap like, yes, but it's different in my case. Yes, but it's not what you mean. If you recognize any of these words and phrases and behaviors and thoughts, that just make a commitment to yourself right here and right now to do something about it, because it's really serious, and it can really keep you struggling and suffering unnecessarily. And breaking free from this vicious circle of gaslighting and self gaslighting can really save your life. So, as with any change and any growth, and healing that we want to do, the first step is always awareness. And this step is even more important here because we are so often blind to this self gaslighting going on. So it's all about being very observant with yourself, increasing your self awareness, stopping yourself in the moment, and noticing all of these things going on. So, noticing where all the situations in which you start to second guess yourself, you start to diminish, minimize, ignore your emotional reaction, when you start to take all the blame on yourself, when you start to explain someone's bad behavior towards you, just stop yourself in the moment. And the best thing is to write down whatever is, happening in your head. All of these things that you keep saying to yourself, it's very powerful to write them down, because gaslighting or self-gaslighting is so tricky that if you just keep thinking about it, you'd probably go along, the most common and the best trained route, and you will confuse yourself all over again. While if you put it down on paper, then it is there quite clear and obvious. So, journaling is always very, very helpful in situations like this. And in Self Love Incubate Inner Circle, just a reminder, we have CC Regan coming this month on the 20th, if I remember well, with her brilliant workshop, Journaling for Self Love. So, this will be very, very helpful if you struggle with any kind of self doubt or self sabotage, self confidence issues. Yes, this will help you a lot to make a real breakthrough by using simple journaling exercises. So, for those of you who are in the inner circle, it's a reminder, and for all of you who aren't, it's an invitation to join us. Okay, so that's the first step always, because we are so often so blind to these things going on inside. It's so good to have other people to lean on when you start to heal from all that, because they will see much more and they will be able to hold the space for you and to see the truth when you yourself can't see it. So the first step is awareness. The second step always is acceptance. Because when you start with awareness, when you start to realize all these things that are happening inside of you, it doesn't feel very comfortable. Yes, it feels uncomfortable. It feels awkward quite often. It feels sad very often that you're doing this to yourself. So if you don't meet all this with acceptance, with kindness, with compassion, then you're very likely just to repeat this cycle of self-violence and start to blame yourself again for everything that is happening inside. So please, please be very kind to yourself while you're doing this kind of work. It's never your fault. Like, whatever you're doing to yourself, it's never your fault. You learned this because of something that has happened in your life, or maybe because of something that is still happening in your life. So maybe, it was somebody gaslighting you, maybe it was some trauma, adversity you went through. Maybe you're struggling with anxiety, depression, PTSD. Maybe it's just too much going on in your life and you can't cope with the amount of stress that is there. But whatever it is not your fault. And it's so, so, so important to remember this. And then the third step. And again, we're just getting a glimpse because there are so many different ways and tools to work with that. But I'm just trying to give you a glimpse into what you can start to do even today to break yourself free. So the first step is to build yourself up. Because I hope you've realized by now, yes, that gaslighting or self-gaslighting is just believing into a bunch of lies that you've been telling yourself. So they might feel like truth. They very often feel like truth. They feel so, so, so real, but still they are just a bunch of lies. So instead of fighting with these lies, like discussing, having discussions, conversations and negotiations with these lies, sometimes it's much easier just to find the truth. It's just like when you enter like a dark room, you don't fight with darkness. You don't try to push this darkness away or get rid of it or whatever. You just turn on the light. And it's the same here. It's just seeing the truth. Like, the truth is that if you are watching this video right now, you must be doing quite well. You have a roof over your head. I'm sure you're not hungry. You have something to watch this video on, whether it's your phone or your laptop. Yes, so you are doing well. And if you, even right now, if you take a moment to really feel into what it took for you to arrive to this moment here and now. How many challenges you have to overcome to be here today. If you look back at your life and see how many things you have to cope with, how many things you had to like resolve, you had to overcome, you had to heal from, you had to recover from, to be here watching this video and taking time to do something for yourself. So there are surely plenty of reasons, and I would like to challenge you to find like at least three right now, why you can be very proud of yourself today. 3 things you can really be proud of yourself. And just be sure to write them down. If you feel up for it, like share them with us in the comments. That's a great way to build yourself up. If not, just keep them for yourself, but please write them down. 3 things you can be proud of yourself today. And all this will help you, to see the truth that you are, like a beautiful, wise, powerful woman, just the way you are right now. And you can trust yourself as well. You can trust what you feel, you can trust what you need, you can trust what you believe in. This is the truth. And sometimes, in order to believe in this truth, yes, you might need people around you who can see this truth as well. So that's why it's so important for us to surround ourselves with, people who guide us, people who believe in us, people who, inspire and motivate us, people who are on our side, so that we have this supportive and friendly environment in which we can grow. So this is just a glimpse into what can be done to build yourself up. And if you need like any support in this area, just be sure to let me know, because there is a lot that can be done here. But for today, I just wanted to say it like very loud and clear, so that you can hear it, and so that you can share it also with other women who might be stuck in this vicious circle of gaslighting. It is a form of psychological abuse. It is a form of manipulation. It is very harmful, and it keeps you stuck. It ruins your relationship with yourself. It ruins your self-confidence, self-worth, and self-esteem. And it keeps you stuck in situations and in relationships that are really not good for you. So it is a big deal. And I know, like, if this was like the Christmas time, or maybe this is the pandemic situation that is going on for such a long time, but for these last like few weeks, I've been having like session after session after session, working with my one-on-one clients, where seeing that so many women like struggle with this issue, and that's why we are talking about it today. So be very mindful whether you're doing this to yourself, but also please like be mindful, maybe there are other women in your environment who are struggling with the same thing, and maybe they can't see that. So please don't like look away, because they might really need your help. So this is either like having a simple chat, or even sharing a video like this with them, so that they can also, look through the veil and see that it doesn't have to be like that. So, and there's another thing that I wanted to share with you today. Just good news, a piece of good news. We'll be starting our breathing circles this month. So breathing circles is a project that is happening all over the globe on each last Tuesday of each month, and there are people gathering together in different places and in different time zones, of course, to breathe together, to celebrate the amazing power of breath, and to use this amazing power of breath to relax, to heal, and to grow. So I'm starting to host the self-love breathing circle this month. We will have our first meeting on the 25th of January, at 8 p.m. Dublin time. And this will be a beautiful evening filled with breathing, but also a bit of journaling, a bit of creative art activities. So please, please, please join us. It's a free offer for all the members of our inner circle, and pay from the heart offer from all the other people. So please invite your friends. The more of us breathing together, the stronger the energy, and the bigger the transformation. So there is a link above this video to book your spot, and I'm really looking forward to breathing together, and to sharing, and just to being in this beautiful healing and transformative space with all of you. So thank you very much for today. Let me know if this was helpful. Please share with all the women that might need to learn more about gaslighting, and break free from it. And have a beautiful, beautiful Sunday. Thanks a million, and bye for now.